In my 41 years of practice, I've had an opportunity to study when and how clients lose cases. And overwhelmingly, the day that the client loses the case isn't when you think it would be, when the verdict comes in. It's the very first day they hire the wrong attorney. And if you've made a bad selection at the outset, it doesn't matter how strong your case is, basically, because it's not going to be managed effectively. There are 10 things that you should look for in a plaintiff's litigation attorney. And if you're not looking for and satisfied that you have all 10, you're making a mistake. And a lot of times, attorneys and big firms don't give the clients a list of things to look for because they don't satisfy them. First off, number one, the client wants to hire an attorney and understand the attorney's experience in similar cases. Let me give you some very specific examples of this. Our office has litigated against banks, and we currently have a case in where an account was opened improperly. But if the attorney has not been involved in litigation with financial institutions before, make no mistake about it. On the other side, the billion-dollar financial institution is going to have someone that's very familiar with the commercial code and the protections that banks have. Same issue with insurance companies. When you sue insurance companies, you need to have a deep understanding of coverage and how the insurance code works and what the defenses are that the carriers have, because they're going to have somebody that has been doing that day in and day out. And the fact that someone has a high rating on Yelp doesn't mean that they have any experience in handling a case like your case. Second, you want to know the attorney's success rate in similar cases. You want to be able to see very specific evidence that in a similar case, the attorney has won. It doesn't matter how many times you've gone to bat if you've never gotten a hit. Third, the attorney's ability to communicate with the client. You want an attorney that you feel comfortable sharing with and speaking with. And you don't want somebody that is jamming a script down your throat of what they want to say. You need somebody that's a good communicator, that you feel comfortable with talking, and that has a rapport in the way that you're communicating. Fourth, you want to know the attorney's willingness to take the case on a contingency basis. This is the ultimate test of whether the client and the attorney are on the same page as partners and whether the attorney really believes in the case. Fifth, the attorney's familiarity with the relevant law and procedure. You don't want someone that's been out of school a short amount of time and that doesn't have background in the relevant law and procedure. You want to ask the questions about what law applies and what are the key cases. Six, the attorney's availability to take the case. A lot of people see an advertisement on a radio show or on a TV show, and they go and they meet somebody that's an effective attorney, but that attorney doesn't have any availability. And what they're going to do is they're not going to try the case. They're going to flip it to another firm or a junior person within the firm. You need to ask the hard questions about the availability of the lead attorney for the litigation. Seven, the attorney's ability to work with co-counsel if necessary. Many cases, and in particular large complex cases, are going to have multiple parties that are going to have to coordinate. It's a little bit like the British Army and the American Army fighting on the same side. You have to be able to coordinate and cooperate with co-counsel. Eight, the attorney's billing practices. You want to understand what kind of costs they charge for, whether they mark them up, and make sure that you understand them from the outset. We typically have the client pay costs, but the costs get reimbursed 100%. That encourages us to reduce the amount that goes out in costs. 9, the attorney's office location. If an attorney is distant and you can't physically go to the office, that creates barriers, and you want someone that has an office reasonably close to the courthouse. 10, the attorney's personality. And there are a number of personalities that lose cases. People that are overly aggressive and turn off the court staff, the court reporter. Attorneys that are too timid to stand up and articulate your case. You want to make sure that you like and understand the attorney's personality, and it's a personality you can work with. 10 things you should look for in a plaintiff's litigation attorney. Don't lose the case on the first day, the day you hire the attorney. Law Offices of John Belcher.